Many people have seen this meme that's pretty much going viral on Facebook, Twitter, and many other places, where they show the human fingerprint and the tree rings. And it is pretty amazing, but the difference between these two, with the tree rings, you can tell the age of a tree, and you cannot tell the age of a person by his fingerprint. But I'm going to take this occasion to add to this, because there's a fascinating thing that trees can tell us about catastrophic events that transpired in our past that caused global climate change. Now, I've added to this tree stump human fingerprint meme, and I'd like to just point out to you that in the year 536 AD and in the year 1816 AD, there was a catastrophic event that these trees reveal to you by the very minimum growth that they had. In the year 536 AD, there was a 3-year winter, and it caused famine, which caused the onset of plague, which pretty much eliminated 1/3 of the world population back in 536 AD. It's historically documented in writings from around the world. It was a global event, and every nation around the world suffered from this 3-year winter where they could not grow crops. And then again, in 1816, there was a 1-year winter, and it devastated the globe. And nations from around the world had a 1-year crop failure. And we know even today, if this would happen today, 1/3 of this global population would pass away. So for those who are out there that are climate extremists, understand that a mega volcano, earthquakes and volcanoes, can cause this to transpire on a global scale. For this was way before any industrial revolution by mankind. In the description, I'm going to put some wonderful, well-done documentaries in regards to 536 AD. As you can search 536 AD on Google, and you'll find out they call it the worst year to be alive. And also the year 1816, known as the year without a summer. Because we have scientists around the world pushing the climate change, global warming agenda. There's over 20 mega volcanoes around the world right now that if they were to go off, they would set us into another year without a summer, and possibly more. You're looking at Mount St. Helens right here. But what I'd like for you to listen to is how little information these people that are pushing climate change and the climate change agenda actually know.
Panelists, let me just go right down the line real fast. What % of our atmosphere is CO2? Take your best guess. You don't have to be accurate. All down the line.
Repeat that question.
What % of our atmosphere is CO2, carbon dioxide? Wild guess, it's okay.
I'll bite 5%.
5?
I'll just follow you then.
We'll go 7. That's my favorite number.
I'll see their 5 and suggest that we know that transportation causes 49% of CO2, so that's why we're all working on energy transition.
All right. So what number do you think it is?
5.
5? How about you? I didn't hear you, Mr. Dreher.
7.
7. Did you have one, Mr. Boyd?
So we got a 5, 7,
This Price is Right.
8. I'm going to
Okay.
get the high end.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I don't mean to put you on ice. I ask a lot of people that because all we hear is climate change, CO2, CO2. I heard a couple of you on the panel saying you're looking to change your vehicles to electric, even though we don't have the electric grid. And me as a farmer, I wouldn't be real happy about running out and replacing $300,000, $500,000, $1 million pieces of equipment because someone wants it to be electric. The answer is 0.04%. Not 1%, not a half of a percent. It's 0.04%. And it's gone up from 0.03 over the last couple decades. This is what we're being all contorted into doing, is this tiny change in CO2. If we get below 0.02, plant life starts dying off.
At this point in time, it would be impossible for the middle income person to have a sustainable living if we transition away from the use of oil, coal, and natural gas in too quick of a pace. I mean, you would put many people into poverty. But if we look at solutions that universities have been studying, that planting trees and shrubs and bushes along roadways is a great source of carbon capture, because they immediately capture the carbon coming out of people using vehicular transportation. And you can search that for yourself. University study shows trees along highways carbon capture. As you scroll down, you'll see that there are many stories about that. They're also studying which plants, trees, and shrubs are the best at capturing carbon. In other words, the ones that absorb more carbon than others. Another great research, so you know what to plant. It's simple common sense if you just think about solutions other than just all of a sudden dismantling all fossil fuels. They call it fossil fuels. I have a different opinion in regards to that, which I've done videos on, and we can get into that later. And I'm going to take a deeper dive into this, but also building lakes in desert regions. 15% of our earth, our landmass around the globe, is desert region. If you build large lakes in these deserts, and several large lakes, separate them and have little connectors to where they can feed in each other, we can turn seawater into fresh water to fill up these desert lakes, therefore lowering the sea level that they say is rising. Okay, and the ones that have the oceanfront properties are the billionaires and trillionaires of this world. They own all the oceanfront properties that they say are going to go underwater. So let them invest in building these large lakes, transferring the seawater into fresh water, filling up these lakes. And as you move up, you can use a pipeline, but you can have smaller lakes along your pipeline going up to the desert regions. And in those, you could do shrimp, fish harvesting, and you would also be able to grow fruits and vegetables around the smaller lakes going up to the desert region. Once you're in the desert region with the lake, you'll be able to plant greenery around the lake, and people in these places that are dying because of famine, because of lack of water, they'll have water. They'll have a water resource. And you get those impoverished communities that live in these desert regions to actually help build these lakes. There's many different solutions we can look at, and many energy resources we can look at. Hydroelectric energy is one of the greatest pollutant-free energy sources we have out there. When I have time, I'll take a deeper dive into this. I hope you will like, share, and I hate the way they're scaring these kids of the world to death in regards to climate change, telling them you're not going to have a future because the world's not going to exist in 10 or 15, 20 years. And so they're causing all these people with false information to become extremists and going out and doing crazy things. Like all you need to do is look back in history. Before any industrial revolution, we did have catastrophic global events by way of volcanoes and earthquakes setting off volcanoes. If a meteor would hit the earth, it would cause earthquakes, which would cause volcanoes, which is written in Revelations. For that reason, I built this site for people to freely come and study Scripture for themselves, to get to know God, to draw close to God. And here you'll find every single book in the Bible, and the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found in 1947 prove that the writings are true in the King James Bible, because they match up exactly. The great scroll of Isaiah was found, and it matches word for word with the book of Isaiah. in the King James Version. But we live in a society today to where they're teaching evolution to our children, basically calling God a liar, and that is blasphemy. And you can expect at any time of God's choosing that he can launch and send off a volcano, changing the global climate in the twinkling of an eye. Seek the truth daily, my friends. The truth will find you seeking.